Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of which one are we on? The week after. That is right, the week after. We got so many sports shows going on, man. You forget a little bit. But again, big college football week that just happened. Some upsets, a lot of upsets actually. So we're here to bring them to you and talk about them. I wish Oregon lost just so my theory would be right, but it doesn't. It's not looking right so far. But we're going to touch on that with none other than Mr. Cameron Theory himself. How you doing, Mr. Theory?
Good. My bad.
That boy was locked in on something. Hopefully, he'll submitting the prize pick about you about Outlier, but
yes. Sorry. Yeah, I'm good, man. Week after, a lot of upsets this weekend. Was just kind of getting crazy. We're having. I feel like it's every other weekend. A lot of teams will lose, and whatnot. So, the crazy thing is the polls didn't really change a ton. Like based off the losses and stuff. I feel like all the teams that lost literally stayed ranked, which was kind of crazy. But I think it's because so many teams lost. But we got a big recap. Penn State lost, A&M lost, Iowa State lost, Clemson lost, K-State lost, Pitt lost, and Illinois lost. So
you know who didn't lose?
Oklahoma, baby. Yeah.
Well, that's not who I was going to go for. But you know who didn't lose? Indiana.
Yeah.
And you had them on upset alert, and I think this was off camera, but I think you had them on upset alert when we were talking about our pick'ems. But they did not lose, and they're not even ranked in the top 10, I don't believe. Let's see.
It's not showing. It's not showing the screen, Carlos.
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Appreciate that. See, this is why you gotta have a co-host, man. Yeah. He gets it done for you. 8. So they went up to 8. What were they?
They went
up 5 spots.
They were 5 spots. So they were 13. They were tied for 13 with Clemson or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
That's what it was. Yeah. And then Clemson settled that down.
Yeah, I mean, Indiana, that's just a team that, they show up, man. Like I said, I was telling you earlier, their coach is on a $3 million salary. And, they're going to have to triple his money because there's going to be some programs that are going to throw 9 to 10 million a year. Super good win for them. I was telling you about Michigan State, but you were right here. Michigan State ends up going up 10-0 early. And then I think Indiana scored like 35 unanswered points, just blew the doors off them. Their QB was our Big 10 player of the week. And, excited for them to keep, making noise. And now they got a matchup in a couple of weeks with Ohio State. That is going to be really, really important for both teams. But, I mean, Indiana is going to position themselves in a chance to where even if they lose that Ohio State game, they'll probably still make the playoffs as an at-large team the way they're playing. So
yeah. But like you said, we had like 8 teams lose this week, 8 ranked teams. So that was huge, and it really didn't shake up the poll too much, but I think it did enough. And I don't think it did enough for the poll, but I think it did enough for the college football committee, just to kind of get a more real sense of where everyone's at. We'll talk with them later. I was gonna hop on A&M, but we'll talk on that later. But Ohio State, Penn State first game was a really good game, and it kind of just showed that again, James Franklin just still can't get it done, whatever the case is. And I meant to ask you, Ryan Day going to this was what 2-7 versus top whatever teams.
Mm-hmm.
Are those 2 wins were only against Penn State?
James Franklin, you said
no. Ryan Day, he was 2-7 going into this against top 5 teams, I think.
Yeah, Ryan Day. I mean,
were those 2 wins?
I'm pretty sure they're only against Penn State because he beat Penn State when Saquon was there and they were ranked like number 2. They pulled, and that's when Saquon returned that opening kickoff, and then I think that's it. I mean, he beat Notre Dame last year. I don't know if they were ranked in the top 5 though. So yeah, I mean,
They
I don't
might.
know
So he
who the
just might
wins
just
are.
yeah. Penn
Yeah,
State
but
just
I just know for James Franklin, he just can't like get it done in these big games. And like we were talking about it earlier when in our pick'ems, it's like because you kind of try to play the devil's advocate, talk about Penn State, and I was like, bro, James Franklin just got to show me. I mean, he just has to. And the thing is, he's like I was talking to Devin. Devin's like he's mid, but he's not. He's like he's good, but it's like I mean, like it's clearly an issue. Like he's like one in like he's like pretty bad against really good teams, and
okay.
it's
But
like
this is where I come in and say like you're good, but that's all you'll ever be.
yeah,
Like you're not great, you're not elite, you're good, and that's what that I think that's the line that he's just kind of falling in now. It's not going to be to me. It's not going to be an elite hire if he does get fired and somebody else picks him, just because he's showing he can't beat the big teams. So I think he's just in the lineup. He's a good coach. He's not a great coach. He's not an elite coach.
mm-hmm.
He's good, and that's all he'll ever be. And I mean, hey, some songs
Yeah,
are just like that.
yeah, I agree.
He just has too much talent on this team to like not be able to beat them, especially when you're at home.
Well, they just don't have any perimeter weapons. Like their wide
That's
receivers
true.
are, like I feel like Penn State just never has like. I mean, you look at you look at every school: Georgia, Alabama, Texas,
I mean, just
Oklahoma,
look at that. Literally,
Ohio
look at
State,
Ohio State.
Oregon. Like I feel like every time like Penn State gets in these games, they just have nobody that can just like challenge you down the field vertically in the pass game. And Penn State, they're known for in these games not scoring touchdowns, playing good defense and kicking field goals. And eventually against good teams, you just can't do that. You have to score touchdowns. And even in this game, I think they didn't even score a touchdown besides the pick six. Like you take away that defensive touchdown, they don't even score over 10 points, right? Or like right at 10. Or I don't know. I think they kicked two field goals and they had the pick six. It was like 13 to what, 20,
Yeah,
24? It's the
it
final.
was
Yeah,
20 to
20 to
13. Yeah, because at the
13.
pick six, because they went and scored the field goal, and then the opening drive for Ohio State, they got a pick six, and
Mm-hmm.
then they're up 10-0, and then that's when Shoney and Steve were like, "Oh, what's going on in Happy Valley?" And then literally after that, nothing
Yeah.
until the fourth quarter. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I mean, they even had that field or that the QB, Will Howard, like the ball when he scored that touchdown and it got knocked out his arm and went through the end zone. Um, they really should have won by more than 7. Like the game was not close. It wasn't. Outside that pick six, like I mean, Ohio State. I mean, even on the last driver, they had to take a knee. They ran the ball 13 straight times before they took a knee. So um, yeah, I mean, I think it was a good win for Ohio State. I just with Penn State, they just are
So
having their issues.
if Ohio State, uh, well, if Ohio State loses to Indiana, are they out?
Um, I would say
Do they
yes.
control their own destiny?
They control their own destiny. I think. I think if they went out, because Indiana would be the only other team that doesn't have a conference loss, but they would have that tiebreaker. And then Oregon obviously hasn't lost yet.
I don't think they
So
play anybody.
um, no,
At
they don't. I mean,
Wisconsin,
Washington could be a game, but just because it's a
yeah,
rivalry. But like, I don't see them losing the rest of the way. I don't.
at Wisconsin, their toughest one.
Shit, Iowa just beat them by 30-something points. I
Yeah,
don't know.
but
So
I was not bad though.
yeah, so I mean, I just think for in my eyes, I think Indiana. This game's gonna be so monumental for Ohio State or Indiana. More so for Ohio State because I feel like if Ohio State loses, they might get left out the playoff with 2 losses because Indiana would have no losses still, Oregon would have no losses still,
And the
and they
person
probably take.
that
And then
does
Penn State would
lose,
have 1 loss still. So like I feel like even though Ohio State beat them, Penn State would still only have 1 loss.
and then the like Ohio State, I mean Oregon and Indiana would play each other in the Big Ten championship. That
Yep.
person would have one loss and it would be to the champion.
Yep. And they would both go. They would both go to the playoff. And then you'd probably bring in Penn State as that other at-large team. Then Ohio State would be battling with the SEC and maybe a couple ACC teams.
Because as it stands now,
so
Georgia would go. Because all right, well no, we're not saying we'll just say Oregon wins a Big Ten.
Mm-hmm.
Georgia wins the SEC. Miami wins the ACC, and BYU wins the Big 12. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you still have Indiana, Penn State. So that's 6 teams. You probably have SMU. So that's 7 teams. You have
SMU and
your
Miami.
no.
You said
Well,
the
Miami's going to be the in the 4.
champion.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
they'll be in the 4.
they'll be the
Then
3.
you have your one G5 team. So that's 8 spots. So out of 4 spots left, you have to deal with Texas A&M, Tennessee, Texas, LSU.
Ole Miss.
Maybe.
I mean, if they went out, I mean,
If they went out,
they also
yes.
play Georgia. So I mean,
Yeah, if they went out. But
shit,
you have to do
Vanderbilt too.
you have to
Vanderbilt
deal
plays
with
Tennessee
those 4 people alone.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they get in.
I mean, they might because their losses would not be bad. They would lose to essentially one of the Big Ten champions, and then they might still because they would lose to the Big Ten champion and they would lose to the runner-up essentially if they lost to Indiana. So like,
But
you
you're
would look
still
at-
fighting for those.
I know, but like they're then it's going to come down to resume because if you look at the SEC teams, like for example,
Well, I guess you could argue them over A&M because A&M just lost to South Carolina, and then if we do beat them, they'll lose to Texas as well. So that put them at 2 losses. They're
who has the better 2 losses and the
exactly.
better win. Like,
well, A&M would be at 3 losses at that point.
Like A&M's best win is against LSU right now. You know, like
Yeah.
LSU might not even play in the conference title. Oh, okay. Ohio State's best win could be against Penn State, a team who lost just one game. And yeah, it is Penn State, but if you look at it from the committee standpoint, it would be like, okay, this is a ranked top 5 ranked win on the road. LSU or A&M beat LSU at home, and they weren't ranked in the top. What LSU was ranked like what 8 or something? So a top 10 ranked win at home. Like you look at the resume, like on paper, Ohio State has the better win, clearly.
Yeah.
But we don't know how.
But you can say that against Vanderbilt as well.
Yeah, I mean, Vanderbilt has a chance, bro. If they went out because they play Tennessee and let me see, they play. Yeah, they play LSU and Tennessee. Like South Carolina, I mean, they should be ranked in my opinion. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean that's a good quality win. South Carolina, South Carolina has a good resume right now, so it's like
3 losses.
Yeah, the only thing that hurting them is that Georgia State loss in the regular season because they win that game, bro. They're sitting right now at 7-2. Sheesh, you know.
What was
that Ole Miss loss hurts him, but I mean the LSU barely losing to Bama on the road. South Carolina got a case at 9-3. They beat Vanderbilt and Clemson. At large bid?
It depends on what Clemson does, really.
Yeah, I know. If Clemson didn't lose to Louisville.
Yeah. I mean, they just kind of ruined everything for them. They really did. But,
I mean, not making the playoffs now.
Yeah, Ohio State might not make it if they lose. Going back to what we're originally talking about, they might not make it if they lose.
Yeah, I mean, I could see them just getting thrown in because it is Ohio State. But we're also I don't even think you counted Notre Dame, did you?
Oh, no, I forgot Notre Dame. Yeah, so, look at that.
Yeah, because Notre Dame is, I mean, they have to win out, but
I mean, they're going to win out. I mean, they
play a weak USC. They play.
What would they?
They do play Army soon, but we just saw them handle Navy. They got Florida State.
They play a weak Florida State.
Virginia's right.
Army. I mean, we know your boy Lincoln Riley. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, it's not impossible for them to win that game. They're at home too. Like, it's not impossible. I just don't see it happening.
Lincoln Riley is better than Brent Venables.
Yeah. Anyways,
just saying.
But yeah, I mean, hey, Ohio State, they might have a chance, but we'll see. Now I want to move on to another Big Ten game. Let's just knock the Big Ten out because we're already in the conference. Oregon and Michigan. This was a game I was trying to tell you about them Ducks, man. I was trying to tell you about Oregon. Had to let you know that they were going to handle business. Michigan had a garbage time touchdown, so it was really a worse score than that. But man, I mean, hey, Oregon, they looking legit, man. Like they are. They're looking complete. They also won this game without Tez Johnson. He got like hurt on like the second.
Is he getting surgery?
Nah, he's coming back. He just
Okay.
yeah, he's coming back. But I mean, they have a ton of weapons outside of him. I mean, they obviously have Stewart, but then Trayshawn Holden had 6 catches for 150. They ran the ball in Michigan for 117. Dylan Gabriel threw for 300 yards. They pretty much do whatever they wanted to Michigan. Michigan, it looks like they threw the football better. It looked like Warren, had a decent game. But, yeah, I mean, hey, Oregon's one of those teams where you got to score points to beat that team.
I picked them to win the Big Ten at the beginning of the year.
You did.
The thing is, I'm just not.
They're good, bro.
They're good, but I mean, I guess that's just the way of football. The way of the new life now, I guess, is even the NFL. Everybody's just beatable. Everybody just looks beatable. There's no team in college football that just looks flat out dominant.
Yeah, that I would agree with that. Everyone, there's definitely parity. Like and it's at the end of the day, it's styles make fights. It's all about matchup. Like Oregon plays Ohio State again. I mean, they beat Ohio State by 1 point. Ohio State matches up well with them. I think Texas would match up well with Oregon. I think Alabama would. As bad as their defense has been, I just think a team that can score points can match up with them. Tennessee,
maybe.
I mean, the thing with Tennessee is the QB. Like Nico,
I picked him under on Price Picks, and that boy want to go for 300.
I know. Well, his passing attempts or yards?
Yards.
I picked under on his passing attempts, and he went over that because the game ended up being closer than I thought it was.
It went for like 294. I had him like at 205, 200 and a half.
Yeah, let's see. I mean,
because I got 294. I was like, bro.
Yeah, pass was under 26 and a half. He threw for freaking 38 yards. And their running back had 27 carries for 142, bro.
Yeah. I thought they were going to lose.
I mean, yeah, we can kind of jump over to that.
But I mean, well, yeah, just Oregon, they're good. They're ranked number 1 for a reason. They take care of business, and I just think that they are very beatable. I just think they are. I think Dan Lanning's a great coach, and I think it's kind of what it stems from because he had that penalty called on Michigan that was where they lined up over the center on the punt, and that gave them like another free first down instead of getting off the field. I don't know if you saw that or not.
Yeah, no, I don't.
So basically, Oregon had, I think, like 5 lined up to the right, and then some lined up to the left. Only the center was on the line. That was it. So naturally, the lineman lined up over the center, and on the punt, you can't line up over the center.
Well, the reffing was just all time bad in that game because the first touchdown was a drop.
Damn.
And they gave it to Oregon, which I was just like, don't they review every single touchdown?
Right.
Like, how did they miss that? And it's just like, come on now. Like, it's an indictment. It's just like, obviously, like, Oregon, that probably didn't matter. Like, Oregon still clearly wins this game.
Speaking of Ducks, look at that. Duck Prescott leaves the game with the hammer. He's out.
Yeah, man. Yeah, they get that. This ain't the NFL show. Get that nonsense off the team. You know what I'm saying?
I already lived that nightmare. But it's stuff like that. Just like small things where he can just kind of dictate a game with penalties of you getting being on the wrong side of the penalties and knowing the small extra stuff that other people don't know. Just stuff like that is the reason he's great in winning these games.
Yeah.
I mean, I picked him also in the beginning of the year as Oregon, Georgia in the championship. So, I mean, they're great, man. But on to what you were saying, I guess we can jump since we started talking about Kentucky, Tennessee. I thought Tennessee was going to lose this game for a little bit, and then they came to life. But Brock got hurt, right? That's what kind of turned the game.
Yeah, Brock got hurt. I mean, the game was just kind of interesting. It just was like a very slow, drag it out type of a game. But I don't know, man. Tennessee's offense, like, I know they scored 28 points, but like, I just don't know what it is. Like, I just feel like they've really been being slowed down. I mean, even Dylan Sampson, like, he had almost 30 carries, and yeah, he rushed for 142 and 2 touchdowns. But like, I mean, if you probably do the average, he's probably not averaging anything crazy per carry. Like it's probably just a lot of, meticulously moving the football down the field. Let's see. If you go to the box score, I mean, he averaged 5.3, which is good. But like, I feel like his longest run was 17 yards. You know what I'm saying? Like he's not just ripping off chunk runs like he was opposed to, and then kind of the way that offense likes to work as well. And then it looks like Kentucky's running back had a long of a 50-yard run. And then, I mean, even their QB, they played efficiently. It just seemed like a game where Kentucky probably just played them like they played Georgia, but Tennessee's offense was probably just able to kind of create more. I didn't watch too much of this. I was out and about. But
I watched a little bit of it. It was just, I don't know, man. It just that's the offensive side of Tennessee is what's gonna be the downfall of Tennessee. Their defense is great, as you know, unfortunately, but their defense is great, but their offense just can't. It's the quarterback really. Can't score points. That's really it, and it's no shot to Nico. I think Nico's gonna be great. I think he's gonna do great things, but as of right now, he's just not necessarily ready. I would say, and not in a bad way. I think as the games go on, he's getting better and better. But at this off season, I think it's gonna be a big jump, and next year is gonna be a problem.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be more of a dual threat next year.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I just think he just needs more starts. That's all it is. And I also, like I said, this offense is very gimmicky. Like it works when it works, but when there's a team that can stop it and can play good defense and can not let you get in tempo, basically like you get behind the change in this offense, you can't snap the ball quick, like you're not going to have as much success. You got to be in tempo really for this thing to get kickstarted and going. And that's why I just don't like it, because I feel like it has to have tempo to work. Like you can't slow the game down, or if you get in a dogfight like against Kentucky or, even against Oklahoma without the turnovers, like it shows that it has its issues.
Yeah.
So,
Well, a lot of Nico's success does come from the quick game, but like quick throws, like slants and stuff like that. That's where a lot of his success comes from. So you're right. If he can't get into tempo, then it looks like that it is a bit of an issue because the remaining schedule. I know they're at Georgia. I'm pretty sure. So they're at Mississippi State, or they play Mississippi State, which they should win, and then they're at Georgia. That's gonna at Georgia and at Vanderbilt are gonna kind of be. Well, really, at Vanderbilt is gonna kind of be their if they make the playoffs or not game. Really, that might be the case for both of them because they should lose at Georgia. Should obviously they'll beat UTEP, and then at Vanderbilt, that's a rival.
I mean, shit, Vanderbilt ain't no slouch, bro.
That's what I'm saying. It's a rival game. They're good
even
this year.
and even outside, yeah.
It's going to be a tough. I think it's going to be a tough game for them. That
Mississippi
might
State
be a
might play them
must-win
tough
game.
too. I'm not going to say Mississippi State can beat them, but the offenses are super similar, right? Like Mississippi State knows what Tennessee runs. Obviously, Tennessee has better players and a better defense, but like that defense from Jeff Lebby is going to be prepared, and vice versa, obviously for Tennessee, because I mean they coached under. But I'm just saying, like that could be a game where you look up Mississippi State can maybe upset them. I'm not saying they will, but early best bet Mississippi State plus 24. I've seen that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at it. I think they're just a young team that's got to get some things together, and I think they'll be good next year. I think they'll be competing rather than like 3 or 4 years. But yeah, I'm not mad at it. But I just think that a must-win game for them is going to be the Vanderbilt game.
Yeah, I mean they got to win out. I think. Well, they only have a loss. But if they lose to Georgia, they have to beat Vanderbilt and then hope some things fall where they lay.
Yeah. I mean, they've gotten blessed, though, in their games. I mean, I'll just say y'all's game just because y'all couldn't move the ball, but I can't really say it's a blessing because
we
did what they did.
Yeah, we gave them
against the Florida game. Quarterback got hurt. Alabama game was just I don't know what Jalen was doing. The Kentucky game, the quarterback got hurt. I mean,
No, they
they
did get
still did
blessed.
what they're supposed to do, but they, in my opinion, they got blessed on some of
Well,
them.
I mean, even in the Oklahoma game, like, bro, we had success. We just freaking gave them the ball. Like, they didn't even force turnovers. Like, that's an issue. So it's like against like a Georgia team, like obviously Georgia looks beatable. I mean, it looked beatable last week, but I was also playing Florida, rivalry game, neutral site. Like, I don't know. We'll just see. I don't think like Tennessee's going to go to Athens and like Georgia will be ready. Like, they're not going to be sleepwalking into that game. Like,
Yeah,
they'll be ready. So
and
I don't know yet.
I think their Georgia's mindset and Tennessee's mindset are completely different because I think Georgia's like playing like must-win football, and I feel like Tennessee's playing like get by football.
Well, it depends on the schedule too. If you look at Georgia's schedule is brutal, bro. I mean, this year they played Clemson, y'all, Bama. They obviously had to play Florida. Then they still play Ole Miss and Tennessee. So like they got to be on that all year because of how many tough teams they play throughout the year. I mean, even Auburn, like obviously, yeah, they had them at home. It's like, I mean, their schedule was not easy by any means. Like they get, and then even Georgia Tech at the end of the year, obviously Georgia Tech's kind of falling off a cliff. But I mean, when you looked at the schedule at the beginning of the year, you were like, they might have the hardest schedule in the country. So I mean, and then them losing to Alabama the way they lost, like we both said it, that was what needed to happen to Georgia in order for them to kind of, get back to form and play as the favorite in the country right now. So, I like it. But going into the Florida Georgia game, I thought Florida played pretty well, honestly. Like, I think they are a much improved football team since the beginning of the season. Unfortunately, DJ Lagway did get hurt. It looked like a non-contact hamstring injury, which we don't like to see those because
I don't mind it.
Yeah, we know you don't mind it, but I mean, he threw a nice post ball, played well. Carson Beck is a liability for Georgia. He plays good, and then he just makes multiple throws every single game, like the one you just saw on the screen, where it's like, what are they doing? What is he doing? Like, why is he looking there? Where is he going with the ball? And I feel like any defense that disguises coverages, especially in zone, he just makes mistakes with the football, and he turns it over. And for him being a highly thought out NFL QB, it just, for me, that's what's going to be what separates this Georgia team from, competing for a national title this year, is because he turned the ball over against Texas, and obviously Georgia's defense shut Texas down and played really well. But Texas, I think if they play again, they will play better on the offensive side of the football. Well, and I think like that's what I'm saying. Like I just feel like Georgia, like against any good team, like a rematch against Texas or against any other team, like in the other conferences, if they just play like careless like that with the football, you can't beat good elite teams doing that.
Well, this is kind of where I'm gonna, I guess, kind of counter you. I think with this is his third game throwing 3 picks. Okay, they only have 1 loss, and that was to Alabama, and I don't think he threw 3 picks in that game. I could be wrong.
No, I think he did, bro.
Not 3. He might have thrown a pick, but I don't think he threw 3.
He threw 2 at least. Yeah, he threw 3. I
3?
Think he did.
Okay, so it's his third game with 3 picks. They still almost won that game. Came back. But for them to still win these games with him throwing 3 picks, that just shows you how good this Alabama team is. Like
Georgia team.
I mean, sorry, Georgia. Yeah. Yes. I was looking at this Bama player right here. If you can still win with your quarterback having 3 answer receptions, that just shows you how good the team is.
Mm-hmm.
I still think they're the best team in college football. Now, do I think they're beatable? 100%. Do I think we play better? I'm not gonna say we beat them, but I think do we play better next time we play them? 100%. But if they do want to not have to worry about these close games, he does have to calm down on throwing the interceptions because he has thrown quite a few this year. I think he's at 12 or something. Let's see.
Yeah, I mean he's at
11
and 17 touchdowns.
That's not a good ratio.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the thing is, it's like if he's supposed to be an NFL guy, the number should be down. I mean, I thought Quinn's thrown a lot of picks, and his number isn't even that high. I mean, he has missed a lot of games, so like maybe it is high for the amount of games he started. Because I feel like Quinn throws a pick every game. I think Quinn had like 7 last time I checked. 6. Yeah, so it's like 14 touchdowns, but Quinn's probably played in he missed 3 games when Arch started. Yeah, so it's like
even then
he's
I'm gonna say there's 2 picks that aren't his fault.
For sure. I mean, I agree on that. Like tip balls and things like that are gonna go against you and counter against you and shit like that. So yeah, I mean, like I said, Georgia, they're good. I just think they gotta do some things.
On the offensive they lose to Ole Miss?
No. I think they smack them. I'm not gonna lie. Ole Miss is a team. Yeah, Ole Miss is a team where, you play a good defense, and like, I mean, yeah, they threw for 300 against us, but they also had less than 100 yards or less than 60 yards running the football, and they'll probably do that shit against. They'll probably do that against, Oklahoma or against. They'll probably won't run the ball well against Georgia. And then, like, even if you look at this Ole Miss LSU game, like, they ran the ball well, but they were on the road. And Jackson Dart, you keep him under 300 yards. I mean, you feel good about it. The way their offense is, the wide receivers they have, and this is the LSU defense who isn't even nowhere near as good as Georgia's, in my opinion. And I think Georgia will be able to score as well on them as well. Like, Georgia has the players to score on them. I think Georgia wins by 2 scores. I think they played last year. I think Georgia beat them like 6. Like they beat them by like a lot, like 40 plus.
Yeah. I don't know. It'll be interesting. I mean, they got a tough back-to-back game, so I think they got to keep, like I said, the interceptions to a minimum, even though they still are winning with him throwing multiple picks. But obviously, you can't just keep testing the luck. You gotta chill on the turnovers at some point. But I guess we're kind of jumping around here. We'll go back to 11 o'clock kickoff. A game that was a lot closer than I expected it to be. I was very surprised. But the Duke Blue Devils showed some life. And I wasn't expecting that. I will say that much. I did pick Malik Murphy to have over 200 yards, so that hit. But I think I don't know, man. I think their defense is just not acceptable. I mean, it's hard, obviously. I'm not even saying it's hard. We're in a day and age of football where you can kind of just go and get people. At the end of the day, you still are the University of Miami. You still have the history you have. You still have the history of the defensive players that you've had. There's kind of no excuse to not have some good defensive people, especially with the players that are trying to help you out and get you back to where you were. And look at Michael Irvin crashing out every game on the sideline. Cam loves when he's in his dog pose. And then you got Warren Sapp at the practices and whatnot. Like, you have the people there to help you get players, but you're not getting the players.
I
think their defense
they're just young.
Is an issue.
They're just young. I mean, a lot of the guys they brought in are just like freshmen, maybe sophomores, just young. I just think it's more probably like of a scheme fit. It's really their secondary. I feel like their run defense is pretty fine. But,
That's their secondary, yes.
Yeah, their secondary is pretty bad. And get on that outlier, man. Show them the statistics, man. But Conley had a good point. He said the Miami team reminds him of the OU teams back in the day, like Lincoln Riley OU teams. Like enough offense to where they can kind of just like outscore people, stay or beat people, or even squeak out some games like Miami has this year. Kind of similar to us when we like squeak out some games against a team that really shouldn't have been able to hang around, but since the defense was so lackluster, that team could score points. And let's look at it right now.
Yeah, I mean,
their rush defense is phenomenal.
Yeah.
Top 10.
But their pass defense
is like it's like middle of the road.
Yeah. Which I feel like that's just not accurate because
it's just crazy because even on third down, I mean they are 12th on third downs on defense. That's good too. Like they're scoring.
This seems like I'm talking out of my ass, but I promise you I'm not. I mean, you just look at their games. 52-45, 34-38.
Yeah, less defenses is being played down in general because I mean their stats aren't bad. I mean they have like a they have a pretty solid defense. Like if you look at the numbers, like it's elite at rush defense and then average
38-34, 39-38, 52-45.
And one of those touchdowns in the Louisville game was a return kick, so we can like it's
I mean, threw for 342. They ran for 106, so that's 400 that's 400 over 450 yards of total offense, which is a lot, I would say.
Yeah, but look how much they had like 500 yards, and their offense is really good, man.
I know, but we're talking about strictly their defense.
I know. I'm just saying, like, I don't know what it is. It has to be like a tempo thing, or just like a turnover thing, or
325, 80, another 400 yards of offense, total offense.
Okay. Did anyone? They must have had some turnovers in that game or something. To
Cal make it close, game. 285, 73.
Yeah, they did good in the run game.
So they did. Game. So why was this game so close? I mean, 300 yards is still pretty good.
Well, I think they were turning the ball over, but then I mean, he only threw one pick. He only threw 2 touchdowns. Guess you
can see.
Fumble. They didn't even fumble. Yeah, I don't know why it was close. I don't know. Maybe Cal just executed.
I don't know. And then you got this game. 188, 206.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, close to 400 yards total offense. I mean, is 400 yards total offense a lot? What would you say?
I would say that's in today's college football. That's not great defense, but it's about average. I think a good number. If an offense is thrown for 200 to 250 yards, that's good. Like that's a good defensive performance, in my opinion. As much as the ball's being thrown around, as much as receivers fall off trees, things like that. And as a run defense, obviously, if you hold them under 100 yards, that's good as well. So I would say anywhere from that 300 to 400.
I mean, I guess this is why. I don't know.
Yeah, it looks like when people get in the red zone, they put points on them.
I guess that's why.
Because I feel like people do move the ball on most defenses, and then like teams either create teams to kick field goals. Well, not even the red zone, really. Like the 40-yard line and in to where you kind of get in that field goal range. I feel like that's when teams like either create a turnover on downs, force the team to make like a punt, or they miss field goals. And I feel like that's what the good defenses do is when the field shrinks, they play better. And I feel like Miami's defense is, for some reason, when the field shrinks, they don't play better. They might play worse, is what it's looking like.
I mean, they get sacks too. But
yeah, it's got to be the red zone.
I don't know. Yeah, it's got to be it. Because, I mean, I just watched them, and it's kind of a shootout to the second half of the season or halfway through the season.
Yeah, it looks like if the teams get down there, they punch it in.
Yeah, because I don't know. Because I do watch the games, and it's like, damn, a good game. Like that Louisville game, it just seemed like there was so much offense. Even the Virginia Tech game, the Cal game, I don't know.
Yeah.
But I was not expecting shout out John Jones, man. I was not expecting this game to be this close. I really wasn't. I didn't think Duke's offense was going to be able to just generate points like it did. I mean, at one point they had the lead. It was 21-17.
Mm-hmm.
And then Miami just kind of took over. Malik Murphy did have 3 interceptions. That was kind of the turning point of the game because there's one pick he threw, and Miami got the ball at like the 18 or something.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, they're going to score if they're there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, like I said, if you can put points on this defense, which it's showing teams that they can. If Duke can do it, you can do it. You're probably gonna win. They're lucky. Their schedule is pretty easy.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that even though Syracuse just lost this weekend, I'm pretty sure I would still say at Syracuse is still kind of scary. I mean, what do you think about Georgia Tech?
Georgia Tech. I mean, they
like
could
at Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I could see it being close, early kickoff, sleepy-ish game, but I don't know. This Miami team, I think, is just destined to like not lose. the way this season's been going.
It's just going to suck for them because they're going to get to the playoffs and just lose.
Depends on who they play. I mean, it's all about matchups.
Oh, but they're going to get a bye first round.
If
they're going to get okay, what's the
they're going to be right now they'll be the 3 seed.
Reckon?
They're better than the Big 12. They're better than the Big 12. They're already ranked higher than them. So they'll be the 3 seed.
So they'll be the 3 seed. They'll play the winner of the 6 seed and 11 seed.
Man, that could be a Texas.
Yeah, I was say that could be a Texas team, and that could be Ohio State.
Ohio State,
that's a scary. That could be Notre Dame.
Yeah, it could.
That's a scary seed for them.
Yeah,
I ain't gonna lie to you.
I agree.
Depending on who the 11 seed is, I mean, even then, 11 seed could be like Ohio State.
Yeah, I mean, like we said, if they end up losing to Indiana, but somehow get back their way into the playoff and they're that 11 seed, it's like, yeah, I don't want to play Ohio State, bro. Like, end of the day, it's still Ohio State, still the best roster, arguably in college football. Like, NFL guys all over the place, 5 stars all over the place. I literally was talking to Devin.
The 6th seed could also be Indiana, bro.
Yeah, which I think they would honestly match up well with them because I just think at the end of the day, like, Indiana hasn't taken care of business. But we also haven't seen Indiana go against a team with like really, truly elite players. I'm not saying Miami has a ton of them, but they have a lot. And, obviously we'll know by that time, like if they play Ohio State, even if they play Ohio State well and lose and they make the playoff, like, and I'll be like, hey, they played Ohio State well. So they can do that. They can play with Miami, but I don't know. I don't know to be determined on Indiana about how good they are when they play these elite level teams.
I think an SEC team or a Big Team team beats Miami.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, yeah, we'll see. All about the U, baby.
Yeah, we'll see. But yeah, I wasn't expecting that game to be as close as it was. I guess we'll go to the upset now. So we'll stay in the ACC.
Louisville and Clemson. I didn't watch too much of this either.
I watched the last part of it. I was pretty busy on Saturday. I know you were as well. But not a good game from Cade. Or I guess
he played
defense. Right. He played all right. It's just 33
well, look at
passes
the pass.
and 228 yards. Like that's not good.
Well, look
and
at
you have a lot. And you have a lot of incompletions as well.
So it's like he was missing, and then they were just like throwing check downs and stuff underneath and getting tackled.
Yeah,
saying they weren't able to hit any explosive pass. But I mean, the longest Clemson's receiving pass was a 22-yard catch from TJ Moore.
Yeah.
And then he's the only receiver that averaged over 10 yards a catch. Everyone else was way under. Even with them having like this one dude, like Brian Wesco, catch of 19 yards longest, but he still only averaged 7.6. So was that like a game plan thing? I don't know. Because that's a lot of throws. So I'm like, were they running screens? Did they want to run quick game? The running back did really well. Like Phil Maffa had almost 200.
Will we get copyrighted for this? You tell me.
I mean, probably, but like we should be okay. It's for educational purposes. Hopefully they put the game on there. Sometimes they don't.
Wheels.
And May Carlos can't even sub to the boys. Crazy.
Oh shit! Sorry, I thought it was for baseball. I guess. Not. What game
they didn't put the game. They didn't put the game. It's not on there.
They didn't put the game on there.
Yeah.
At least not yet.
Yeah.
Wow. But yeah, I don't know. That's why I don't sub to him. You don't have all the games on there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, bro. It just looked like. Did they fumble? Like, what is that? Why? Like, how did Louisville?
No fumbles, no interceptions.
Yeah,
and Louisville's not.
They were just efficient.
Like, hard to play against.
They were just efficient. It was what it looks like.
I mean, yeah, because even then, like 156 yards.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I guess the run game, but even then, they just they beat them.
Yeah, they just look like they just straight up beat them. More efficient,
and they fumbled.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, that was a bad loss in my opinion.
So
because I think Clemson was good, and we had them rolling. We had them winning the ACC.
Yeah.
I still think I don't know if they go now because SMU and Miami both have no losses. Clemson only has one loss, but they also don't play these other schools. So like I don't know how they're gonna even pick if they all have a loss. or one of the other teams lose, like maybe will they go off of, ranking or common opponent or whatever. But yeah, I mean, that loss wasn't great, and I think the schedule just gets now it's like even harder because obviously, yeah, South Carolina isn't in the ACC, but like you need to win that game if you want to make it to the playoffs, especially because they lost to Georgia already in the non-conference. And if you lose to South Carolina, a team who's hot right now, a team, it's Cocktober. It just ended. They do well in October, right? And now they got November coming up. This is a South Carolina team who's confident. They played well against LSU. They played well against Bama. They just smacked A&M at home. So that's not going to be an easy team to play on the road. They know they can beat you too, because they have recently. And then you have Virginia Tech, who just beat Syracuse. You're going to have to go to Lane Stadium, hard place to play. You're going to go to Pittsburgh and play a good Pitt team, even though they lost to SMU, still a solid team. So it's like they got these three of these last 4 games coming up are going to be very, very crucial, and they have to win out to get even
two
to
tough
get a chance.
road games for sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't expecting them to lose to Louisville. I would say that much.
Especially at home, it's like we're gonna drop one on the road, but you got to win these home games.
Yeah. So I think they're. I guess we can't say they're done because they could technically still win the ACC, but I think their playoff hopes are kind of.
They got to win out of there. Some things to happen.
Yeah.
So, which I mean, we've seen it in the season. Everyone's
possible.
Losing.
Yeah, everyone is losing. So. Yeah, man. I think I think they shot themselves in the foot on this one. I wasn't expecting them to lose, but here we are, and they gotta prey on people's downfall. And I know that all too well going from last year. Even though we made it, hey boy, every weekend I was all right. Can y'all please lose? Can y'all please lose? Don't want to put yourself in that situation, and they did. But if everybody else if Miami and SMU went out, I don't think they make the playoffs. But going on to SMU, was not expecting a win like this either. I was expecting a lot closer game. They were blowing them out. They bent them over. It was so bad. Preston Stone got in. Pebbles got in. This tight end, he can move.
Yeah, I've seen that.
That boy can move. Look at this.
He looks like a prototypical NFL tight end.
That boy turned on the burners. Look at this. Yup. Peace.
Yeah, the stride got going. Then that DB is hauling ass.
Yup. That boy got some burners on him. Yes, sir. Hey. You know Will Compton added him to the white boy team.
Hey, shout out to Will Compton, man. No free shout outs, literally. But SMU, man, that's a good win, man. And they're proving that. I mean, it's not looking good for the ACC because I've seen articles like a Group of 5 team is running shit in the first year. But to be fair, Florida State's down, and SMU also hasn't played a Miami or a Clemson yet. Some of the other big dogs in the conference. So we'll see, because their schedule is kind of light.
I mean, they should win out.
But yeah, they should win out. I mean,
where's the ACC championship?
It's in Charlotte.
Mercedes? Oh, it's in Charlotte.
Yeah, it's in Charlotte.
The SEC's in the Mercedes.
Yeah, but Boston College, I think, could play them tough just because they're well coached with Bill O'Brien. I think Boston College is probably like a year or two away from being a real contender in ACC. They obviously have the coaching staff to do it, but I just think they're, new first year there, things like that. Virginia, it's a far game, but I don't think they'll have a challenge there, and then they'll have Cal at home. So, they're playing good football, man. And I think SMU is a team that has a ton of resources, and we kind of talked about in the offseason. This is a team they get the right backing from their donors, and they also haven't been good literally since the Pony Express, like dominant to like a national contender. I think now in the NIL era where it's actually legal and things like that, I think SMU and their donors and the NIL are going to do everything in their power to make them kind of just dominate the ACC. And having that Texas footprint in the ACC in a Power 4 conference, and also being in the Dallas area, there's going to be a lot of kids that are going to, look at it and be like, hey, I can go to the ACC, still play in Texas, things like that. Maybe some of the kids that aren't being looked at as heavily in the SEC. And this is really going to affect Big 12 too, like Big 12 recruiting, Baylor, TCU, some of those schools that SMU ends up kind of being dominant in that area. So, yeah, but I like it. I mean, I'm a fan.
It's always dope to see For one, it's always cool to see Texas teams shining, rising, unless your name is A&M or Texas Tech. Two, especially for these smaller schools, man. I mean, SMU we didn't get to see it, but like you said, the Pony Express. If it wasn't for that, they might have
Still
been
be
in a group of well, I get what was it, Power Five conference
they might have been
before
in the Big
now.
12.
They might have been in a Big 12 and dominating.
Yeah.
But that set them back some years. If y'all who did it, ESPN 30 for 30.
Yeah,
If y'all don't
30
know what
for
that is,
30,
go watch that
for
30 for
sure.
30. But I mean, I'm excited for them and happy for them, and they kind of got their coach on a lockdown too because they gave him a fat pay raise as well. So I think they'll continue to shine, and they're gonna get. I mean, they're in a perfect place. They're in the central part of Dallas. Like, well,
Mhm.
you're playing in a group of four. Power forward school, and
Mhm.
you're in Dallas, close to home. So why not go play for them? And you're gonna have a
Mhm.
huge donor backing as well.
Mhm.
So why would you not go play for them? So I'm excited for them. I hope they win out, and I do hope they win the ACC, which I think they can. Tall task, but year one winning the ACC, going to the playoffs, like
Mhm.
what more could you ask for?
No, I agree.
So, but yeah, it wasn't close, and let's see. I was expecting more from Eli because SMU's pass defense isn't that great.
Mhm.
But I think I picked his over and it didn't hit. His overs at 299.5, I think. And it didn't hit. But I was expecting more from him, and it didn't hit. But I
Mhm.
mean, looking at this, it looks like they held him pretty well. Because you said holding someone under holding at someone 250. Would you say that's pretty, especially a quarterback like him?
As a team, yes. Oh, and well, yeah, for sure, quarterback. But yeah, holding someone after the boy Nate Yarnell got in. Hell yeah, Lake Travis boy threw 2 touchdowns too. Um, but
He went to like
yeah,
Travis.
yeah, he went to Lake Travis. He played with Conley.
Oh,
Yeah, I mean Eli Holstein. I mean, yeah, I mean he's a good QB. I don't know if he got benched or hurt, but I
I don't
mean,
think he either. I think the
but I
game was
just put
just
him
out
in
of
there in
hand.
garbage
40,
time.
yeah,
Yeah,
48 passing.
yeah, yeah. I mean, like I said, you hold especially with that many attempts. I mean, he's averaging 5 yards a throw. Like, take that all day as a defense. So
Because
this
I
man
said
looking at
they're,
Beyonce.
hey, come on now, Queen B. Because their defense is actually really bad. Uh, SMU.
Is it really?
Their pass defense, I'm pretty sure.
I feel like that. I feel like it can't be that bad. I mean, you gotta
That's type in Sam Methodist
no, you gotta Southern Methodist.
or Southern Methodist. Sorry.
Yeah, they might have a bye. Yeah, I think they have a bye.
Can I go to another week? I gotta wait for another.
I don't know.
I think I
I've never
gotta.
dealt with that or seen that.
Yeah, so they're on a bye, so I can't show you. But their defense, I don't know if
I mean, you can just type in SMU total defense. They have it on ESPN.
statistics team. This doesn't show the defensive side. I
You
don't
gotta
think.
type it in. Like, go to the search bar and just type in total defense or something, and it should like pull up the like rankings in college or something. I pulled it up before. Hold on. Yeah, SMU is.
Oklahoma women are taking care of business. Just to let you know, 40-15 at halftime.
Come on now. Damn, 15 points. Abysmal. Right now, SMU is overall defense. They are, yeah, they're not great. They're okay. They're like
Their passing defense specifically.
passing defense.
Does it say?
Yeah, they're 114th.
Yeah, out of 100 and what, 32, 33?
37 or 30, yeah, a lot. Bottom, and if you're in the hundreds, you're in the bottom. So
That's like they're almost at the bottom of the bottom.
yeah,
So they're I was expecting more of a. That's why I said I didn't expect this game to go this way. I thought it was gonna be like a shootout.
yeah. I mean, I feel like SMU and Rhett Lashley, he's been playing good football. I mean, the way he talked after the Duke game, I knew that they were going to show up. He felt like a coach that's not satisfied. And I mean, since the Nevada game, I mean, we talked about it on the 54 yards with everyone. They played really well, much improved. So yeah, they're good.
That was a week one.
Yeah,
last but not least, the biggest one of them all. Hey, man, go Gamecocks, man. You did the Lord's work.
Well, we got to still cover Iowa State and Tech.
Oh, I mean, ain't nobody worry about it. The Big 12 don't run through Lubbock, right?
No, it does now.
It might.
It sets up a big matchup this week with Colorado and Tech. Basically a playoff game. Both teams, because both the teams have a chance. They went out to play.
Who does Iowa State
Iowa State
have
got
left?
to play K-State.
So Colorado could sneak in there if they went out.
Yeah, 100%. We need BYU to start getting clipped. I can't lie.
I don't think they are. I think his schedule's kind of cake.
Arizona State can beat them. And then Utah still can. It's the holy war. Hey, watch out for Houston. They just beat K-State. Hold on.
9:15 kickoff, man. I'm trying to be in bed, man.
Yeah, and Arizona State, they're playing good football. I mean, Arizona State has a chance too. Look at them. They went in. I mean, a lot of these teams have chances to go.
Yeah. Did you watch this game?
Yeah, I watched pieces of it. Tech, they locked up on defense. They played really well for the most part. They took care of the football, or not really. Actually, they threw 2 picks. They just found a way, man.
And fumbles.
They made some plays. Josh Kelly had a good game. Iowa State. This literally the stats line up with the score. Literally looks like both teams played really well, and Tech just got the better end of it. But this is a good win for Tech on the road, playing against Iowa State in Ames. It's a hard place to play, as me and you both know, being former Big 12 conference members with our teams. But I was happy for Tech. Tech's been a weird team this year. On paper, they have the most talent in the Big 12 outside of Colorado, and they will probably continue to be that way now with the NIL, the resources, their coaches, things like that. But Tech's lost some weird games this year. They got smacked by Baylor, blown out. And then they also blew a game last week to TCU. If they don't lose those games, Tech should be, clear-cut favorite. I actually had them as a dark horse team to win the Big 12. So I'm happy for them. They play Colorado this week. Unfortunately, I want both teams to win because I like Tech, and I want Colorado to make the playoffs now just because why not, right? Like, it's good for business,
I'm not so much of a Tech fan, but
you hate on them for no reason. It's not that deep.
No, it's just more of your brother and their coach.
Conley's not even that bad.
No, he's not bad. It just he goes there, so I gotta hate. Yeah. But more of their coach, really.
He's not bad either.
What? When we left, are you kidding me?
Yeah, but that's y'all. It's because it's y'all.
Exactly.
Y'all but that's just how y'all act.
So I'm gonna take it,
and
I took it personal.
Yeah, but I mean, he's not that bad. He's a good coach. He cares about them, and I think he's the right coach for Tech. Like, he's the right level of enthusiasm. Has the high school backing.
Yeah.
I mean, I picked him to win this game. I think last week I literally was like, we were looking at the spreads and stuff. I was like, Tech. I was like 13.5. I was like, take Tech to cover. I didn't, probably didn't pick them outright, but I knew they would cover, and they ended up doing that. So,
it's kind of a typical Iowa State falling. Like, we say that they're every 3 to 4 years they have a good team, but like that team is still a team that just can't get it done. Because even then, how many times they go to the Big 12 championship? Like every 3 to 4 years.
They lost to us,
and that was only one, right? Or they played against Baylor as well.
I think they played us, and that was that because Baylor played Oklahoma State that year. But yeah, I mean, they're
still a team that they just can't like finish, or they will drop that one game and it just kind of like ruins their season.
Yeah, and then they'll go to a bowl game and things like that.
Yeah, so. I don't think they go to the playoffs. Me personally,
I would say I only think one team is going to the playoffs from the Big 12.
Yeah, and it's going to be the winner.
Yeah, unless BYU just loses only in the championship and then other teams lose, then maybe they'll have to. But I just don't see that. I see everyone losing a game in here, if not maybe 2.
And the only reason they lose is if Colorado goes to the Big 12 championship, because that has to be rigged, right?
No, they're just playing good football, man.
No, I'm saying like if they go, like you had to rig it for them to win, right?
Who, Colorado?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, why would you not?
Good for business, man.
Oh my, why would you not?
Literally good for business.
The ESPN is gonna call him and be like, "Hey, rig this game."
Yeah,
that's what's gonna happen.
It's good for business, man.
But they do. Tech does play them this weekend, and what's it looking like right now? Colorado's favored by 3.5.
Big noon kickoff. It's gonna be rocking in Lubbock. Lubbock has something to play for. That is a hard place to play, and obviously, yeah, it is early, so that's going in Colorado's favor. But it's still gonna be rocking there.
3.5 is kind of a lot. I ain't gonna lie.
Take the over 62.5.
Oh, for sure going over.
It's gonna be a Wild West shootout. I like it.
I'm probably gonna take the over in Tech to cover. You'll find out on chips and slips, but 3.5 is kind of a, for both of these offenses, 3.5 is kind of a lot.
Yeah, I could see it being, winner wins by 3. That's
or winner wins on. It could be like
game winner.
I don't know.
Game winning field goal.
Yeah, by 1.
Yeah. We'll see. For me, I got to go for Wreckham. Guns up this week.
Well, we know you got about 13 teams.
Yeah, anyways.
But last but not least, they did the Lord's work. I appreciate you.
I told y'all about those Gamecocks. I said South Carolina money line. Carlos wanted to not win no money with our pickups and listen to me. But, hey.
It was a lose-win for me.
Yeah, I told him. I was like, listen, bro. I was like.
It was a lose-win for me.
I was like, they're going to have a week to game plan for Marcel Reed. There, he didn't even he ran for 46 yards, but he had
Did you watch the game?
20. Yeah, I watched most of it, like bits and pieces, and then I finished watching it. Yeah, South Carolina, bro, blew them off the football. Like I told you, Carlos, best defensive line in the SEC. They showed it. They got these edge guys. They're elite, They were also moving A&M off the football. They were moving them off the ball.
I saw that. I did see that on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, as good as that,
that boy had that belt to ass picture at the end.
Yeah, and the North Sellers, you know what I'm saying? He played really good. I mean, when he got the spectacles off, that man is dialed. I mean, and that running back, Raheem Sanders, he's a problem. Like that dude, that's a big ass running back. He's physical. South Carolina's a good team, bro. And honestly, like they are going to be a team, I think, in the next year or two, because Sellers is young. They got a ton of upside in recruiting. They got a ton of young guys there now. That is going to be a team that's going to be dangerous in the SEC. I think they found their coach. Like you can't fire Beamer. Like it's just hard to win at South Carolina. It is, unless you're like Steve Spurrier, who did it. He's really the only coach to really do it, like for a sustained period of time. So you're not going to move off of Beamer. He's had his lumps, but he does this every year where he upsets somebody. I mean, last year, they upset someone last year. I know this year they obviously upset
Georgia, or was that 2 years ago or a few years ago?
That's a couple years, or it wasn't. They upset Tennessee when the year that Tennessee finally got good again, and Clemson back to back with Spencer. And then who did they beat last year? I know they beat somebody last year, bro, because they upset someone once a season.
So they're good for one upset a year, is what you're saying.
At least. Let me see. Hold on. They beat last year. Let's see. Last year they were kind of down. Yeah, last year they were down. They almost beat Clemson last year, 16-7. Yeah, they were just down last year, but they're still good for playing everyone tough. Every season if they're healthy, and I think they got the right coaching, they got the right players. A&M just. I was trying to tell people like. Everyone's like, oh, my God, Marcel Reed. And I'm like, listen, I think he's going to be okay.
Well, no, Le'Veon Moss did go out. That was a huge –
but even then, I mean, they had already went up on that. They were already up still 14-0. Like
that's still a big blow.
Yeah, but
that you don't want to have.
Was in chase mode regardless. Like since then, and then, I mean, Beamer Bowl, I think they South Carolina, they just make these games drunk, like I say. They just make them – where it's just like hard, sloppy. They make plays. Oh my goodness. I didn't see that.
That's not good.
But like I said, it's a team that you could game plan for. It's going to be interesting to see what A&M does moving forward with the QB position because I feel like Marcel Reed wasn't the best option in a game like this because you obviously have such an athletic defensive line that can contain a running QB and a QB that can't really throw the football well. Like, okay, I thought that was a pick, but he does throw a pick.
That was a nice snag.
But like Connor Wegman, I feel like is better suited for this game. Maybe not just from the mobile aspect of being able to avoid edge rushers, but again, if A&M wants to go far, I think they're going to have more of a pass game moving forward, and it's going to be interesting what they do because you've already kind of burned that bridge. Did Marcel Reed do enough to get benched next week? No, in my opinion, he played not great, but I mean he wasn't the reason they lost essentially. So we'll just see, man. I mean, it's interesting, like going with him and then losing to South Carolina the way you did. And then you got Auburn and who else does A&M play before y'all? They play someone else.
They play like a crappy team, like a Citadel team.
Let me see. They play New Mexico State and then Auburn on the road and then y'all. So they should win both those games. Auburn, who knows with Hugh Freeze, he could turn up at home and upset them. I don't think it's going to happen. Auburn's not that great this year, but they're going to play the game in their live against Texas. So like I'm not saying they're going to beat y'all, but that game ain't going to be
I already
easy.
said they're going to beat us.
So look at that. Ugh, body. Come on, the Norris Sellers. Look at them, baby. Yes, sir.
It is very I'm surprised they ran it as well as they did. I mean, was that not a late hit? What's I saying?
No.
It was a late hit. I'm surprised they ran as well as they did because they that front line it really is truly good. And for them to just, kind of manhandle them. But it looks like they're running to the outsides a lot, not really up the middle. They went away from
they still were. Yeah, they went
away from the teeth of the defense.
Yeah, they're still controlling the line of scrimmage. They had hit on some big plays right here. Like that was a good run.
See, outside.
Yeah, outside. Yeah, good game plan.
Yeah.
Just explosive.
Number 11 and I believe number 5. It's like Scootin or Scoutin or I can't remember his last name. And then number 5, I can't remember his name either. Shamar, something like that. Those two guys are kind of like their teeth of their defense, I would say.
And I think A&M started. I think they took the lead at some point, but
I think right here.
Yeah,
that's just hard. That's hard. That's hard to cover. That's
you
just have to have maybe a spy. I don't even know if a spy helps that.
Mm-hmm. That's the dynamic. Did they not get this? They do.
No, I'm pretty sure they score right here.
Yeah. Yeah, they scored before half, and I think yeah.
Man, it was a good game.
Yeah, here it comes. Then A&M and South Carolina put that belt in the second half on them boys.
Second half.
They might have scored on this possession, actually. They might have had the lead before it. Look at that secondary.
Look at that throw. Oh, my God.
Yeah, that throw was not good. It was
roughing the passer.
Mm-hmm. They probably get a field goal here.
That should have been something. I don't know what. No, because look, grabs his face and then he slaps his head going down again, and then that caused homeboy to be out for the rest of the game.
Let's see here, touchdown. Here,
fumble.
Wow,
and
what a great tackle! That is a great tackle by Sellers. Oh, holding on defensive holding. Yep, kick a field goal. Dang, what a A&M.
It was 2020 going into half.
A&M really lost the game right there. I know it's 2020, but
outside again.
Those momentum plays right there.
Yeah, number 11, number 5. Those are the teeth of their defense.
Those momentum plays, yeah. That's when they lost the game. But all in all, hey, South Carolina, them Cox, man. Shout out them Gamecocks, man. I tried to tell y'all. I told y'all South Carolina money line.
They did the Lord's work.
If you want to get paid with Cam Parlay, you listen when I say these things. I
didn't know. Lenore's stalling for 244. That's huge because he's not a great thrower, but he's not I'm gonna beat you by throwing the ball.
Bro, he threw for 244 off 13 completions. That just shows how bad that secondary is.
Try to tell you. I mean, he ran for 144. He might be the baller of the week.
Yeah, he went crazy. Him in the back.
Oh, no, sorry.
Yeah.
He ran for 106 even then.
But Raheem Sanders had 92 receiving yards as well. The back. So, I mean.
I don't know.
Yeah, he might have been. He should have been the SEC Player of the Week, but Ole Miss went crazy as well. So they had a couple of guys. But, yeah, I mean, that'll do it. I mean, I think for me, I think that's all I got on these guys and on the games. And, you know, it was good football being played. Upsets all over the place. I love it. You know, we got a loaded week 11. Last week was kind of like when you looked at the slate, it was like kind of mid, but it delivered. A ton of teams lost, a ton of good games, a ton of upsets. So you never know what to expect in college football, the greatest sport. And this weekend, we got a lot. Like it's going to be fire weekend. Texas is playing again. Oklahoma's playing again. So, you know, we got a big rivalry coming up against Mid-Pooh. Got to take care of Dorkwitz, put some belt on his ass, man. And you know what I'm saying?
Man. I might get bent over.
And then stop it. That ain't happening. But it's not. But you know, and then you know, you got Florida. You know, Carl's got Florida, which would be cool. It'd be cool. Like I don't think Florida's ever played.
Are you going?
I'm not sure yet. Tentatively. I'm waiting to see. So we'll see what happens. But if I do go, I'm going to be sad if DJ don't play because that's why
I don't think he's playing.
Yeah, who knows, man? That man Bailey Napier might be, you know, they eject that cortisone shot in that hamstring, man. He going to be back against Texas.
There's no way you can tell me that it's not that serious, but you got carted off the field.
Yeah, that shit was crazy. And he was on crutches on the sideline.
So you can't say it's not that serious. He literally got carted off the field.
You never know. You never knows, bro. He might have got a sensu bean, man. He might have
because that return would be insane.
Yeah, and if he played good too, I'd be like, this man's is different. He could just be different. Who knows?
Oh yeah, we'll see.
We'll see, but it'll be exciting. You know, college football it's already week 11, which is absolutely sad.
Remind me. I say this every week.
So we're flying through the season. We'll be talking about playoff show next episode because it comes out on Tuesday. A lot of stuff happens on Tuesday, so we'll be talking about the college football over there. You know, so make sure y'all tune in for that. These are where the rankings matter, and I'm curious to see what the committee initially does because this will kind of determine like how they're going to view things off depending on where they pit people, right? So
there's where the real rankings happen, and you can kind of get a because they redid the committee this year, right? Like it's people are like
well they added people in, but they still have the originals.
I know, but it's like people who like actually the people that added in are people who like actually know and watch football.
Yeah, but that's how it's been though. I mean, it's just been like it hasn't been like the AP poll. It's like a select group of people that do it. Like commissioners, people like that. Commissioners, athletic directors, people like that. So
I don't know.
I think Ohio State's.
Sometimes they say things that it proves otherwise.
I mean, the committee I think has never got it wrong. To be honest,
they did with Oregon last year. They ranked them ahead of us because of Bo Nix check down completion percentage.
That doesn't matter. I'm talking about
that was legit what they said. Not verbatim, but that was. We ranked Oregon ahead of them because you just look at Bo Nix's completion percentage.
Yeah, but that was the initial rankings. That doesn't. I'm talking about at the end of the play. At the end of the day, when they select the 4 teams, they've gotten it right every time.
Oh.
And they had to make a hard decision last year, and it was the right decision.
True.
You know, so. That's what I'm going to be curious to see.
But I'll just say, hey, I know they be someone makes sure they.
I'm curious to see where they put the group of 5 teams at because obviously they're going to have one, but I want to see like
Boise State. Boise State could be like 13.
Yeah. Well, who's going to be? Yeah, I mean, I guess. I mean,
everybody just lost. They could be like 13.
Like
because there were 17.
Oh, but I don't know how they're going to rank it because they're going to do like a playoff ranking, but like it's not going to matter because like. Boise State could be ranked 20, but be the best group of 5 teams, so they're going to be like a 12 seed in the playoff. You know,
is it possible for them to be like an 8 seed in another group of 5 at 12?
Yes, I think because it's the 4 highest rated conference champions. So of the Big 12,
and then everybody after that is basically
yes
6 through 11.
Yes. And
they could be in at 6 through 11.
Yeah, so
they, like I said, they could be like ranked 13 or 12.
They could also be a 4 seed if the Big 12 just shits itself and they just went out. But obviously, I think BYU would have to lose 2 games as well, and then like it would just have to get bad in November for the Big 12 for Boise State to do that. Because right now I think BYU is probably gonna. I mean, even if they drop one, I mean, they lose in the Big 12 championship with 2 losses. I mean, but that's gonna be, it's gonna be interesting. I mean, it's playoff football. Like our boy Josh Pate,
November.
Our boy Josh Pate's always trying to crap on the playoffs, and honestly, this is a bad take because these are playoff games. LSU and Bama this weekend, playoff game. Whoever loses is eliminated, essentially. Same thing with Tech and Colorado, and I'm sure other teams around the country are playing this week. Like Ole Miss, they literally have Ole Miss in Georgia. This is a playoff game. It's in the regular season, but these games really do matter. They can't just lose and they'll still make it. No, these are playoff games. So,
yeah.
All
righty. That was a good one. Always forget. Sometimes I always get mixed up. It's 54 yards the week after. But thank you for tuning in. Another episode of the week after. That'll do it for my boy, Cam and Los. And as always,
yes, sir.
welcome.
Boomer.
We'll see y'all guys.